I'm pleased to report that the CP Economic Forum has yielded impact as seen in the recommendations adopted over the years. When we met in the 11th Economic Forum last year, we discussed the national priorities for economic social development under 8 areas, which was national security, oil and gas, education focusing on the reforms in the new curriculum, labor exports, industrialization, value addition in agriculture, tourism, and cooperatives as a driver for socio-economic transformation. So regarding education, we're happy to support that the new curriculum is one of the listed priorities for 24-25. Tourism is also one of the sectors that has been highlighted that will contribute to Uganda's economic growth. And it's a good thing that, as you'll see in the budget, government has put in enough, some resources to try and market and promote tourism in Uganda. Among our proposals for tourism were enhanced tourism infrastructure through the redevelopment of tourism sites like the Source of the Nile and the Entebbe International Convention Center, the creation of recreation spas, upgrading airstrips, and the development of cable cars on Mount Rwenzori. And if you recall, in this financial year's budget speech, the Minister of Finance announced plans for the modernization of tourism products to enhance competitiveness, including the completion of the pier and related infrastructure at the Source of the Nile, upgrading the Uganda Museum, construction of 8,000 meters of climbing ladders and broadwalks on the Rwenzori Mountains to facilitate hiking. So the will of government towards transformation of our society is evident, but we need to get involved as much as possible, not only through contributing to resource mobilization, but also through input into policy development. Our theme this year is focusing on enhancing the productive sectors of sustainable development, and it's really in line with government's growth strategy for 2012-25 and in the medium term, as well as the country's vision for 2024. The productive sectors like agriculture, industry, and services have been positioned as drivers for sustainable socio-economic transformation in Uganda, owing to their proven ability to increase household incomes. And therefore, at this economic forum, our aim is to discuss strategies for harnessing the potentials of these sectors, as you'll see the topics listed out in the magazine. So we selected 9 areas, and we have quite an interesting line of speakers, and I'm really hoping that we are going to be able to engage quite actively.
Recent findings show that in under 1 generation, the number of Ugandans working in agriculture tripled from under 4 million in 1990 to nearly 11 million in 2018. And this is largely due to population growth. As a result, worker productivity in the country is low and has been declining since 2000. This is coupled with a high labor underutilization rate, just 42%. Government recognizes the above context and the priorities in the budget for financial year 2024-25 aim to address that situation. For the record, the first priority of the budget for 24-25 is investing in the people through education, healthcare, water, sanitation, and hygiene. This priority has an approved total allocation of over 10 trillion shillings. The other priorities in the budget for 2024-25 are peace and security, and I am happy that those are one of the priorities you listed during your 11th Economic Forum. The other one is maintenance of roads, construction of a few strategic roads, as well as rehabilitation of the meter gauge railway and construction, of course, of the standard gauge railway. We also have investment in wealth creation initiatives, including commercial agriculture, value addition, the parish development model, science-based research, youth skilling, export promotion programs, and the GROW project, which seeks to extend low-cost credit to women that operate, micro, small enterprises. Together, they command a budget allocation of over 2.6 trillion. Electricity transmission, distribution, and utilization of the existing energy stock is also a high priority. And then disaster response management, using resources from the contingency fund. As accountants here, I think you'll appreciate that risk management is a very prudent practice, and we endeavor to adhere to that in planning. And then, of course, we have our international commitments for regional and global partnerships, which are very vital in securing some of our strategic interests. How do the above priorities address the productivity question facing the country? Findings from the 2021 National Labor Force Survey show that out of the large working population share in agriculture, which is 64%, individuals engaged in non-market oriented agriculture, forestry, and fishing accounted for the largest share of working persons, and that is over 50%. While market-oriented agriculture, forestry, and fishing sector had only 12% of the working persons. It is therefore clear that the way to raise worker productivity in the agricultural sector must start with increasing the share of individuals engaged in commercial agriculture. The more than 2.6 trillion shillings for wealth funds in the budget for 24-25 is aimed at speeding up that relocation process. Access to affordable capital by itself is, however, not enough to speed up commercialization of agriculture. In addition to capitalizing wealth funds, government has prioritized reducing the cost of doing business across the economy and has consequently placed investments in rural electrification to support primary processing of commodities, water for production, district and community access roads, basic education under UPE and USE, vocational education, supply of pesticides and acaricides, financing of extension workers, agricultural insurance, and research and development, which is vital for raising productivity in terms of the crop varieties and their drought resistance.